I just want to say that I'm here to talk about, is Marvel falling off or is Marvel dead already? Let's get into it. So first off, I just want to say Phase 4 as a whole is really not that great. It's really downhill. So I'm going to be doing my mini review of the whole Phase 4 within the MCU. So we're going to talk about that and let's get into it. WandaVision as a show as a whole was pretty interesting at first, as far as at least to say, with the first two episodes being black and white and the whole thing of Wanda being in a self-contained own mini La La Land universe per se of her vision and the two kids, and it was okay show for me. It was the start of the phase and the start of pretty interesting actually, which I really enjoyed and liked for the first couple of episodes until the finale. It was just a cluster CGI superhero fight that we just used to seeing nowadays with the summer suckfest. So I'll give it a 6 or 7 out of 10. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And again, I mean, in my opinion, it's better than WandaVision, so that's an A+ there. But the show really does suffer from bad writing and, you know, not showing the characters very well. It treats them a little poorly. Like, for example, Falcon himself not needing enough money to get a loan for the bank because he's an Avenger, and that's how Avengers don't even get paid, so that's a downside there. And then with John Walker's U.S. agent in the midst of all this is really crazy, and the way they handle his character being the next Captain America, and that was handled poorly with him and his death of his best friend. So yeah, the show overall pretty great. One in season 2 of the show. To the theatrical film side with Black Widow that came out I think 2022 I believe, or no, it was 2021 still sometime. Black Widow. Not much to say about this film, but which is a spin-off series from that one scene from Endgame where, as you can see here, he takes the Tesseract and he dips out of existence. And the show is pretty great overall. How to handle Loki, is pretty okay in my opinion. And I know the show had controversy with him, a whole Lady Loki thing, with him basically liking himself, but a variant. I found that to be okay. I didn't pay that much mind to it. But I really did enjoy Jonathan Majors as Kang. I really did enjoy that. That's one of the reasons why he's the main villain in Phase 5 for now. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Give the show about... Oh, I also like Owen Wilson's character, Mobius. It was fun too. And Miss Minutes is alright. So I give the show about a 9 out of 10. But can't wait for season 2 in October. What if? Oh, a TV series, an animated TV series this time on Disney Plus again. This time, what if the Avengers did such and so? That's basically the premise of the show. So what if Captain America became... Well, instead of Captain America, what if it's Carter from there? What if Carter becomes Captain America, and what if T'Challa becomes Star-Lord? All these crazy what if stories, and they combined it all into one big Avengers assembly right at the end of the finale, which I like that how they wrapped it up, and I like the stories that they tell, and it's an overall really solid show. So I would give it a 8 out of 10. Pretty good. Can't wait for season 2. Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings, which it's a really good film, and I like that Marvel really deep dive into the hand-to-hand combat martial arts will be finally see in the MCU. and it's an overall really good and solid film. Most people call this movie forgettable and not so good, which I really don't understand. Simu Liu, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, was a really good actor in this. She played Shang-Chi really good. I didn't mind Aquafina. She was okay. And I like the fact that they brought back the Mandarin. That was a pretty cool scene. And then I forgot what the dude's name who played the Mandarin, but he was really good in the movie, and really enjoyed the final battle between him, even though it's another CGI fight superhero thing. But the movie is still good, you know. It holds itself up, especially with 2021 nowadays. So I'll give this movie a good 9.5 out of 10. Wait for part 2. Marvel really wasn't interested in the character at first. I played her a little bit in the Marvel's Avengers video game that came out in 2020, I believe. The film was overall solid, it's an okay. Reminds me of kind of like a Disney Channel superhero vibe that they're going for, but with a Pakistani character as a superhero. So it was okay. Not much to say about it. So give it a 7 out of 10. Eternals was an okay super movie again. Not that much special. They introduced way too many characters within the movie. Like there's like 9 so heroes. Well, 8 in the movie. And when didn't like the way they handled them within the movie. Shamla Hayek is okay. And Richard Madden, he's pretty cool. Brian Tyree Henry, his Fastos. He was pretty good, not much to say about them. Then turns out the main villain would end up being Richard Madden, which is like, okay, didn't really care about him in the first place, so, why? At least not that much, so why did I care if he's a villain, And then Kumail Nanjiani as Kingo. He was pretty funny. I liked him. But Gemma Chan as Sushi. She was pretty cool as well. She was alright. And then they also got Kit Harington as the Black Knight, which he doesn't turn into in this movie. He's just a Dane Whitman. Well, he does turn Black Knight at the end, but that's at the end of the movie. But yeah, the film is okay. Give it a 6 out of 10. Overall, kind of mid. Hawkeye was a pretty cool show. It's sad to see that Hawkeye's not really that much of a main character in this one. Instead, it's Kate Bishop. It's kind of her show. But, hey, the show overall sounds solid. It's okay. Yeah, it's pretty good fight scenes and stuff. I like that Kingpin made a cameo in this. And supposedly did a fake death. I guess I don't know why Marvel did that to put him into Daredevil Born Again, which will be in Phase 5. Which we'll get into later. But for now, Hawkeye's character is pretty good. With him and his hearing aid, it goes into a little bit of an arc. And Yelena Belova cameo is also alright, with them fighting over there. So the show is overall okay. Could have been better. So 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, this show is really bad. Because let me explain why. They ruined She-Hulk and the Hulk within the same series. And a little bit of Daredevil they ruined. A little bit of Daredevil. So what they did with She-Hulk is that they made her into this gold boss feminist. That you see as the scene right here where she's getting catcalled by these couple of dudes over here, and then, she turned to the Hulk out. Hulk grabs her, saying that women don't like getting catcalled and all that stuff. Like, really, why you put that in the show? This is about superheroes. I don't want you to educate me about, feminism and woman empowering and shit. But on to the whole, could they really make him kind of a little bit of a doofus buffoon in this, which he has Bruce Banner's brain right now, so he should be smart as well as had brains and bronze, which he said that in the end game. So yeah, they ruined his character, and I know there's a lot of controversy when it came to this, with the fight between him and her, at the end of the first episode, and I'm just like, okay, he hold back. He had to hold back because, that's his cousin and all. He was training her and all that stuff. He was just holding back. It ain't not a big deal that people are making it seem. But, and then we dive into Daredevil of the show, and Daredevil, they kind of do justice of him. He was okay to me. It's just the people we got mad for him doing the walk of shame, and why you made him do that? Like, really? Daredevil doing the walk of shame after he hits it off with Jennifer? Like, why? So, overall, the series is... Oh, I'm sorry. And then I'll dive into... Titania, yeah. Titania was not so great for being the arch rival of She-Hulk in the comic books, which in this TV show, she's a influencer trying to influence the young kids I was trying to be a superhero wannabe, even though she's not a good one. So yeah, she's not good. And then it's the main villain, which is the new dude that she was on a Tinder date with that one episode. And then, with the finale really sucks. And overall, it was just a bad show. So I gave it a 4 out of 10. With Oscar Isaac. Moon Knight was a pretty good show in my opinion, even though it got controversy on how they handled the character Moon Knight within itself and Mr. Knight. Which I'm just like, okay, yeah, this changed the overall character of the comics. He was bloody and violent in the comics, and now he's not so bloody and violent in the TV show. But Disney had to do that, sadly. But the show kind of did have a darker tone within itself and the whole story as a whole. With not only with his origin story of being abused and apparently being Jewish and raising up, being a higher mercenary, and then made a deal with the Asian god Khonshu, and now he's a superhero who fights crime. And also has personality disorder where he has different personas within his body. So I feel like that was a pretty interesting concept that they put in the show, and I really like the supernatural stuff that they put in it. And overall, the show is really good, I would give the show about an 8 out of 10. Really good. Oh, and also Ethan Hawke as the main villain. Solid. Really solid. Which was... this movie have way too many jokes in it. And way more jokes in it than Ragnarok ever could. But... yeah, so let's go off what I did like. I did like Russell Crowe as Hercules. He was pretty good in this movie. Overall solid character. Thor in this one, he's the same goofball idiot that he always been. Which I really didn't like what they did with him. And Korg, he just wouldn't shut up in this movie. Like, he just really wouldn't. It was really bothers me. And then Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie returning again. She was okay. She really wasn't given much to do, especially when it comes to the ending. They really just left that out, even though she wanted to die in Valhalla. And in order to be in Valhalla, you have to die. So it would be good if she joined the final battle, but I guess she'll sit out on this one, I guess. And then we got Jane Foster as the Almighty Thor, which she's okay. I didn't mind her. I didn't pay too much attention to her. It was interesting how they did her cancer storyline and integrated jokes in it. That got controversy for that, and then I'm just like, people handle griefs differently, and that's just life in general. So you saying that, it's just, why are you even saying that? Like, people handle it differently than obviously from what you are. But yeah, there were to me two jokes overall. And then with Gore the God Butcher by Christian Bale was overall pretty good villain. He was, a little scary and, an all-threatening villain, and a villain who was kind of right, if someone was treating my race like that and wouldn't help me at all with my daughter with being sick and all that stuff, I'm pretty sure I would kind of get in that rage. I would handle it differently for sure, but, I would be mad as well as he was. But yeah, overall, the film is okay. So I'll give it 7 out of 10. Pretty solid. Way Home, the third entry in the Spider-Man trilogy, and the film's pretty good. They finally released another banger film besides Shang-Chi. Tom Holland, he does his best as Spider-Man once again. He does good with the character. And you got all his friends. You got Zendaya being back, and Ned Leeds. They pretty good. And also J.K. Simmons back as JJ again. He was always pretty good in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. So I was definitely happy when I saw him back in this movie. And not only that, but we get a few other surprises like Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, Electro, the Lizard from The Amazing Spider-Man, the Sandman from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. And then not only that, but within itself, we got Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back as Spider-Man, with all of them within this one film, which is all good to see them nonetheless. It gets them a little nostalgia. But then a little callback there where they were having a whole conversation about finding the villains, how Toby and Tom Holland find the alien and not Andrew, which I was really geeky in my chair, as a fanboy nerd that I am. So with that being said, overall the film is pretty great. 9 out of 10. Can't wait for Spider-Man 4. And that was pretty it, guys, for the Phase 4 review. I already did Wakanda Forever, so if you want to check out that video, I have in the link in the description. But yeah, that's the end of Phase 4. Oh my god, there was so much in this, and it's clustered and so much stuff within this phase, and so much content, it's not even funny. So, one problem being wrong with this phase is, like I said, too many content. You got too many shows, too many movies getting pushed out with all in the same year just to promote your streaming service, which overall ended up failing because it's too much content and not enough quality in the quantity. And then, number 2, is because you put all this woke political agenda within these movies and TV shows, which nobody wants to be educated about this woke political agenda within these movies and TV shows. We just want to watch superheroes doing superheroes, being superheroes. We don't want superheroes educating us about the world and the political agenda, about the gay community, about Black Lives Matter, about diversity. We don't want to hear that when we're watching these films. We want to see and hear superheroes doing superhero stuff within superhero movies. It just makes sense. Yeah, so that's the ultimate reason of why this phase didn't end up working. And this began the true MCU campaign that's been going on with Nerdrotic. This is the true beginning of Marvel falling off. So now, even though we're still in the middle of Phase 5, let's get into Phase 5. So now let's get into Phase 5. Starting off with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So was I being with Scott Lang, Ant-Man, Paul Rudd again returning to the position of the character. He was pretty good, he returning out of Ant-Man, It's a pretty good character. And then we got his daughter, Cassie Lang, which I really didn't like. They made her a political woke agenda character for the sake of storytelling, but that's another time for another day. And then we got Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne, which Michael Douglas is okay, yes. What was his name? Hank Pym and Van Dyne. What was his name? Hank Pym. Yeah. Once again, he was a good character as Hank Pym. I really enjoyed him. And then you got Janet Van Dyne, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, aka Catwoman, back in Batman with Michael Keaton. And she was fine. I didn't have a problem with her. And then we got Kang the Conqueror, which he was okay. I like Kang in this one, even though he was just fine, but he really carried the movie overall with his performance, really carrying it over from Loki. And then Darren Cross returns in this film, but this time as MODOK. And MODOK, I didn't like what they did with him, especially with the way he looks for CGI, even though he's supposed to look weird. I was really surprised they really even did the face thing that they did. Like this what I'm showing right here. I'm really surprised that they did that. And they really shouldn't. They really just should have just kept him as a robot because he just looks awful. Like, really awful. The CGI looks awful in this film. Like, you can obviously tell this is fake. So, yeah. I give about 6 out of 10. It's okay. Can't carry. So now, let's dive into Secret Invasion. Which, Secret Invasion was an okay TV show. They really did strong at the beginning with Nick Fury, and turns out Rhodey was a Skrull the whole time until Captain America Civil War, which I was shocked they did that, but kind of ruins his character. Nonetheless, because of the moment in Endgame we saw Tony Stark die. That was pretty upsetting. And then turns out Fury has a whole wife who is a Skrull, which I was shocked to see that he had a Skrull as a wife for it in the TV show. And along with that, Talos does the guy who played Talos does a really good job of playing Talos once again from Captain Marvel, which honestly was the best part in Captain Marvel. And then you got Gravik as the main villain, which he's okay, the main villain. You know, dude is really doing all this stuff because one dude broke up the promise to him. You know, just ugh. Yeah, so I like the spy espionage in the series, but do really think the final battle really defeats the purpose of the espionage spy stuff within this TV show's ending, which I really didn't like in the final battle between Amelia Clark's character and Gravik. I really didn't like the fight between them. The CGI was a little ugly again, and now she's the another powerful character within the MCU. But overall, you know, the TV show was okay. You know, I would give it about 7.5 out of 10. They really shouldn't cut off Talos or Maria Hill for that matter. Why you kill Maria Hill? Like, just why? And it's even worse with the director not even caring about the hate that the show is getting and all this other stuff. Is really not caring. You know, as long as he get paid, who am I complaining? You know, it's whatever. So Phase 5 is already looking at a bumpy start, y'all. You know, we got one save with Volume 3, with James Gunn's last film before he moves on to DC now. You know, but it's just sad, man. And all this stuff being delayed due to the strike, which I will talk about in another upcoming video about the actors and writers strike. That's coming up soon. It shows how Marvel is falling off, all because of one big giant mistake, and that's because of wokeness. You go woke, you go broke. And now Disney is going bankrupt, and Disney Plus is not doing so well, and all the other companies is losing money because of stupid decisions over in the industry and the company. But that's all I have to say, and see you guys next time. Peace.